Good morning, friends. Welcome to Take Two for this Tuesday, the 26th of February, 2019. I'm Jeannie. I'm so glad to be with you today. Well, I am outside in the yard, and I want to talk to you a little bit about, hey, what's blooming? Well, the truth of the matter is the weather in southeast Alabama has been unusually warm these last few days. Now, today it's a little chillier. Please excuse me, I'm outside. I'm not used to operating this camera outside. Bear with me. Usually it's not quite this warm. The last few days it's been up in the 80s. We actually broke a record on Sunday, I believe it was 86 degrees. Now for February, that's a little on the warm side. I remember a few years ago it was Valentine's Day and we actually had a little bit of snow here. So it's just erratic. You just never know what's going to happen. But here's what happens. Here's what does happen. When it's unusually warm like that, and we're talking about it's about 15 degrees warmer than usual. What happens is some of the flowers start blooming. Now I'm going to walk over here to the azalea bushes that are in my backyard. Now this is what they should look like around this time of year. Just nice and green. A few little buds getting ready to bloom. But if you go down here, you could see, I hope you could see, we've got some blooming already down at the bottom. Wow, isn't that something? They thought it was spring. They thought that it was, what it's supposed to be about, 4 weeks from now. So it got fooled. It got fooled. Here, let me come around this way and you'll see. One of my neighbor's trees is in full bloom. I'm about to turn around and show you. Full bloom, boys and girls. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. I'm going to walk right up to it so you can get an idea. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. Full bloom. Not supposed to do that for maybe another 3 or 4 weeks, but the weather got fooled. Well, you know what happens? When everything blooms a little too early, then it ends up dying off a little too early sometimes. Unless it's just resilient enough that it goes ahead, decides to come a little early and stay bloomed like that. But a lot of times that's not the case. So I started thinking this morning, I started reflecting on Matthew 6:28 that says, will you consider the lilies of the field, or depends on what version you're reading, maybe it might say consider the flowers, the wild flowers of the field. They don't spin, they don't get worried, they don't toil. See, here's the thing, they know that one way or another they'll get watered, they'll get tended to, they'll get just enough sunshine, and it doesn't matter if the weather is not what it's supposed to be. If the circumstances are not ideal, and the circumstances are not perfect, and the circumstances aren't what they expected, they don't panic. So why do we? Why do we consider constantly what the future is going to bring? What things are before us? Why do we panic when suddenly the weather is a little bit different than usual? Why do we panic when our circumstances are a little bit different than we expect them to be? Why do we get so worried about these things? Well, that's just part of human nature, I guess. But the flowers don't worry about it. The bugs don't worry about it. The lizards don't worry about it. If all of a sudden the weather is different, which causes them to not be able to have their food the way they normally do, whether it's seeds or worms or flies or whatever it is, they don't panic. They just go looking a little further. And I love to watch nature programs. I love like those Planet Earth shows and stuff like that, or Blue Planet. And when the elephants are out in the desert, or whatever animals are out there, and they're used to having water, or they're used to having snow, or whatever animal, whatever terrain it is, and that year they had a shortage, or that year there was a drought, or that year there were floods, they don't panic. They just go to the next thing, because they know that somehow, some way, they'll eat. They know somehow, some way, they'll have shelter. They don't panic. They don't say, oh no, it didn't rain, or oh no, there was floods, oh no, there's scorched land. They don't say that. They just go and look for it because they know, in the great scheme of things, they know they're going to be taken care of. So let's do the same. I encourage you, boys and girls, whether it's your azaleas are blooming a little too before schedule, or whether you have a deadline that needs to be met and you're worried that you're not going to make it, or you didn't make it and you're worried about what's going to happen as a result of it. Keep going forward. All you could do is go forward. You know, when I worked in retail, I remember one of the managers, Miss Brenda, she was wonderful when I worked in the belt department store, and she used to say, Jeannie, you know, when something wouldn't go right, you know, like maybe with a sale or something was a disaster, or we had a special event that didn't go off right, she'd say, moving forward, moving forward. She'd start sentences with moving forward. In other words, just because it isn't exactly what you expect right now, and it didn't go perfectly the way you wanted it to, move forward, because now here's your opportunity to redeem that and go forward so that the next time it'll be just fine. And remember, you will be taken care of, and consider those azaleas, consider the lilies of the field, consider the birds of the air. They don't worry about where their next meal is going to come from, or whether or not it's going to rain, or even if there's going to be a freeze tonight. They don't worry. They just go forward. And I suggest we all take a lesson from them and do the same. Hey, go be a blessing to somebody today. You know, you might end up being the only one who is. And don't forget to become a subscriber to my YouTube channel, Jeanne Sigler, Jeanne Sigler. Click that subscribe button. And of course, great programming, great music, great everything on WRMZ.org. Click that listen button. Okay, y'all, I love you so much. I think I'm just going to stand out here for a few minutes and consider all the beauty that's around me, because it is indeed a beautiful day, whether it's raining, sunny, or snowing, wherever you happen to be in the world. I pray that today be a day that you consider all the beauty and not worry, okay? Don't worry. Be happy. I love you. I'll see you tomorrow for Hump Day. Bye-bye.